क्या आप आईएएस की तैयारी कर रहे हैं और कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स को 2.5 लाख तक की फीस नहीं पे करना चाहते? अगर हाँ, तो 22,500 रुपए में घर बैठ के StudyIQ के पेनड्राइव कोर्स के साथ आप आईएएस की तैयारी कर सकते हैं। आज ही विजिट करें StudyIQ.com.
Hello and welcome to StudyIQ. I am Prashant Mahavani. I hope you're all doing good. I have got a special topic for you guys. It is associated with Data Protection Committee. Couple of days ago, I told you when this thing was in news, I told you that we will discuss about this topic in detail as soon as we find something solid, something relevant. So here we go. You have the gentleman on your screen. His name is B.N. Sri Krishna. He is a former Supreme Court judge and he is the main man of this committee. So the name of this committee is also B.N. Sri Krishna Committee. Make sure I told you this thing, and I would like to remind you that you find this type of questions as well many times in MCQ. You will be given A and B, you know, A and B met the following kind of things. So on one side they can ask you name of committees, and on the other side subject of the committee. So you have to match it. So make sure when it comes to B.N. Sri Krishna Committee, it is associated with this data protection. Then you have Ajay Bhushan Pandey, who is Chief Executive of UIDAI. You have Gulshan Rai, who is National Cyber Security Coordinator. You have Aruna Sundarajan. She is Telecom Secretary, of course. Now the thing is, I'll take you through some positive points. The law will have jurisdiction over personal data. Personal data is considered a very important thing, or you can say at the core of this recommendation is personal data as well as you can say consent. These are the two things that we find at the core, in the heart of these recommendations. Now if you are collecting, you know, if you are collecting, sharing or you are processing any data of a person in India, then that data will come under this law. Now how it works, I'll give you a brief of how it works. See, at present we know that these recommendations are handed over by this committee to Government of India. To be more specific, it handed over to Ministry of Electronics and IT. Now this ministry will publicize this data, so you can, it's in public domain, so everyone can pass their recommendations and things like that. And after that, government will study recommendations. It will you know, choose the best thing that it thinks is good for this law, and then it will be passed to or given to cabinet. Discussions will take place in cabinet meetings, and if everything is all right, then this will be introduced in our parliament. So this is how it works. I hope you have got a good idea about how things work in government. So one more thing, that recommendations are not mandatory, right? It's not necessary for government to follow the recommendations that are given by this committee. Government can select a couple of them, or government can reject it entirely. It's up to government. So keep this thing in mind. Generally speaking, we have never seen that the whole recommendation is rejected. It's only sometimes you find that a couple of ideas are dropped by government. So this is the first thing, that if data, personal data is processed in India, then it will come under this law whenever it will be passed. The law will not have a retrospective application. That means all the data that is say for example your personal data that is collected by a particular company a couple of months ago, or maybe before this law comes into play, right? All those data is fine, but from new day, new dollar will start. That means from new day, a new beginning. So as soon as this law comes in, from that day itself, if there is any data that is collected, processed, or you know, disclosed, or anything else is done with it, then it will come under this law. The law will cover processing of personal data by both public and private entities. Here, these recommendations have specifically talked about sensitive personal data that includes passwords and financial data and health data and sex life and sexual orientation, biometric and genetic data. Such data also covers information that reveals transgender status, intersex status, and caste and tribe and religion and political beliefs or affiliations of any individual. So all these things will become part of this sensitive personal data. Now this this body has also recommended, or this committee has recommended, that we need to have one Data Protection Authority of India, DPA, that will look after the implementation as well as enforcement of laws that are part of this data. And this new regulator will have, the structure will be, it will have 1 chairman and it will have 6 full-time members. So in total we are going to see 7 important players in this DPA. If a company is taking consent from you regarding your personal data, then the company will have to provide you this service for free, first of all, in the sense that this data collection fees cannot be collected from the person from a person from whom this company is collecting data. Other thing is, they have to inform you, they have to be very specific, they have to be clear. They cannot, I think, write in that those small letters you find in terms and condition papers. So it should be clear. If they are collecting your sensitive personal data, then they have to have a specific separate consent from you. If they don't follow this thing, then penalties will be levied on these companies. And if there is a child, right, any person below 18 years will be taken as a child. And if you are collecting data from child, then you need to have green signal from the parents as well. So that's basically everything about it. That's all positive points. Now let's go through some negative points as well. As I told you that this committee has handed over its report to this Ministry of Electronics and IT. It has been made public as well, and we find this thing that it is a distant brother of GDPR. GDPR is data protection law of European Union. So it is just like European Union. At the heart of this this new data protection law, we have consent. Consent is one of the most important thing. The most negative thing about this particular law is that as far as state is concerned, right, government, whilst it's collecting your data, it will not have to ask your permission. So this is a matter of concern, because under section 13 this law is clearly saying, this recommendations are clearly saying that if you exercise, if you are extracting or if you are using personal data of individuals, right, then as far as if you are a government, then you don't have to inform that person. You can directly collect it from anywhere you like. There are a few reasons why government is doing this thing, but again it is negative, because the thing is it is directly counter to this Puthaswamy judgment verdict, where right to privacy is considered as a fundamental right. So government cannot play around with this thing. And you know that in today's world, every one of us is using something and something. It's an age of electronic and data driven governance. So government is collecting huge amount of information from us, whether you know it or not. When you pay your electricity bill, when you pay your gas bill, when you pay your I already said electricity, any other sort of items you do, right, any sort of transactions, how much you have in your bank and everything, government can have access to this sort of thing. So this is of course not expected from a government in a democracy. Businesses who are engaged with data protection, data processing sector, they are going to face lots and lots of pain, because now they have to set up a separate data protection officer, and data audits will take place, and it will be time consuming as well as it will be expensive too. So it's going to be a bit trouble for these private companies who are engaged in data protection, and they have to keep a copy of all the data that they collect. As far as the data center means, data center should be located in India, and the person or company, on particularly persons, if they are collecting individuals' data, then they have to store a copy here in India. So this is going to be additional cost for these companies. At the same time, the government has argued that it helps particularly to this investigative agencies. But to help investigative agencies, what we need to do is we need to reform this mutual legal assistance treaties with other countries. So say for example, if you want to have access to a person who has done something in India and now he is in USA, then you can directly have a treaty through which our agencies can directly have a word with their agencies. So we don't need this thing, right, to deal with this problem. We don't need this maintaining copy thing. You can directly ask or have access. So these are some of the negative points, and of course the negative and positive, and I'm sure we are going to find some more items on this thing. If required, then of course we will talk about it in detail in future. JP Nadda, who is our health minister, has launched a national viral hepatitis control program on this World Hepatitis Day today. I am thinking to add or bring for you guys a special topic on hepatitis and how dangerous it is and things that are associated with it. Government has said or declared that free drugs and diagnostics will be provided for hepatitis B and C in all government hospitals across the country. Minister has also said that the viral hepatitis control program means now things have changed quite drastically because of Prime Minister Modi's intervention. At the same time, he also said that eliminating this viral hepatitis by 2030 is the goal of our country. So all of us are stakeholders. We have to spread information about hepatitis B and things like that, and you never know, in next year you may find a question on this as MCQ in your upcoming prelims, so right, next year's prelims. So pay attention to this item too. And moving on to another item, dear friends, Minister of Commerce Suresh Prabhu was present here on this 44th India Gem and Jewellery Awards 2017. And whilst addressing people who were present over there, he said that India's exports in year 2017-18 has been record breaking. It has been highest in last 6 years so far. He also said that if the same pace is maintained, then hopefully in few years, we will become an export giant. Exporting is of course a sector. If you export things, then that means you are bringing money in, profit will come, revenue will get generated, and this is good for the whole economy. He also said that world trade at present is in a turbulent phase because of the USA. He has not taken any name, but I'm telling you that USA and China and their this tariff wars are killing global business. He also said that no one is listening to at present. His words were not there, but to make you understand, I'm saying that no one is paying any heed to this WTO, World Trade Organization, which was introduced by USA itself. The proposal came from USA. If you go back in the history of WTO, you will find this thing. And this WTO itself, no one is paying or showing respect to this WTO. So this is again a sad thing. The minister said that service export is growing faster than merchandise. That means goods are being exported less compared to services. So services are going to be our key engine growth. He also said that this industry, this gems and jewelry industry, the export target is $75 billion by 2022. He also said that if the same pace is maintained, then in next 7 to 8 years, our economy size will become $5 trillion, and by 2035 we can touch $10 trillion. That is a good thing. Dr. Harshvardhan, who is our Minister of Environment, a very small update but very important too. A very important point, one liner for you guys, that nothing can take place without mass movement, particularly when we talk about environment. And all of us on individual level, we have to adopt this green good practices. Pradhan Mantri Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, or this Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. The main objective of this is not a new yojana, but for revision's sake, it will help you. So this yojana is predominantly targeting youngsters, and it is imparting skills to youngsters. And that means under this yojana, youngsters can get skills, they can get certificates as well, and this will, of course, you can present this thing and it will help them to get that job that they are seeking. That's everything in today's discussion, dear friends. Enjoy your studies, and I will bring a special topic for you tomorrow. Till then, Jai Hind.